We're going to chop it up on today's San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, I appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day. There are so many great and talented content creators out there. There's a lot of competition to the 49ers Report. That's why we're always so thankful that you hang out here with us. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Niners training camp getting underway on Tuesday. We're only a couple of days away, and our coverage is about to be elite. Our coverage is about to be fire, as we're going to push out even more content. During the month of June, I pushed out more than 50 videos, long-form content here on this show. We're going to top that number in the month of August. Join the largest independently run Niners channel right here on YouTube, which is approaching 135,000 subscribers, by hitting that sub button. Tony DeWeese getting us going. I'm not going to trade Brandon Aiyuk. That would be dumb. I agree. And I think that at some point a deal does get done. I think that the Niners might increase their offer by $1 or $2 million, and then Aiyuk's asking price might go down by a couple of $1 million. If I'm Aiyuk, I'm looking at the Niners and I'm saying, I have this harmonious on-field relationship with Brock Purdy. We have developed great chemistry. My production since he took over as the quarterback has truly been elite. He's helped me get into a position where I'm about to get paid. I know that under Kyle Shanahan, who is truly an elite offensive mind, I'm always going to have excellent production. And because of how this organization runs, how they operate, the talent that is on this team, I'm going to be happy because we're going to win. Remember during locker room cleanout after the heartbreaking, soul-crushing kick in the balls loss in the Super Bowl to Kansas City, Aiyuk was asked about what he wants in the future. He said, I want to win. So you can win, you can be happy, you can put up great production, and you can still make money. So if I'm Aiyuk, look, $30 million might be your asking price. Bump it down to 28 and see if the Niners move off at 26 and get a deal done. Mac Daddy with the 5. The only trade I would take for Brandon Aiyuk is Patrick Surtain and a 5th. Yes, Patrick Surtain is worth $20 million a year, but only if I had to. So that's interesting, right? Because Charvarius Ward and Deommodore Lenoir are free agents following the 2024 season. Ward was an All-Pro this past year. Lenoir is an emerging player. Both of those players are going to be due new deals. Deommodore Lenoir is still going to be young. He's going to be looking for contract number 2. Didn't make a lot of money in his rookie contract. Charvarius Ward, on the other hand, will be on the wrong side of 30. A little bit of a risk to pay a corner a lot of money, especially if he's demanding $17 to $20 million. Aiyuk, on the other hand, let's call it 26 to 30. That's the AAV he's going to get, and between $60 and $80 million in guaranteed money. Even paying Patrick Surtain $20 million allows you to save. So let's say you pay Surtain $20, you bring back Deommodore Lenoir, you let Charvarius Ward walk, and you trade away Aiyuk. In a way, you make some switches to this roster, right? But you're still in a really good spot because you're good at corner. You're hoping that Ricky Pearsall works out. You probably bring Deebo back again. You have Jauan Jennings, who's criminally underrated. Hopefully Jacob Cowing takes another leap. You still have George Kittle, who's under contract the next 2 years. And you're still a really good offense with Brock Purdy getting paid. Mac Daddy, the GM. People are talking. Black Mask, $5 super chat. Chase, no love for Jauan Jennings. I really think he's going to be really productive this year. Your Super Bowl MVP. Great timing right there, as I just got done talking about Jauan Jennings. And he is underrated. He's underrated because he's been overshadowed by this offense, which has been so dynamic in running the football and putting up crazy production there. And then obviously at his same position, Aiyuk and Deebo being on this team, who are known league-wide as spectacular players. Also as part of that, for the casual fan, they go box score hunting and they look at Jauan Jennings' career numbers and they see year one, after he originally got cut as a former 7th rounder, practice squad, So his first official year in the NFL after he was drafted in 2020, he only had 24 catches, but 5 touchdowns. He was good down the stretch with Jimmy Garoppolo that year. And then year 2, he had 35 catches. And then this past year, he actually had a career low in catches in the regular season with 19, but in the playoffs. How about the seam balls that Brock Purdy was throwing? The number balls and the balls, the throws that he was making in between the hashes and the numbers. I mean, the touch accuracy, the processing, leading Jennings, and then Jennings taking licks, getting hit, climbing up the ladder to make those grabs. And then in the Super Bowl, yeah, you're right. I mean, he may have been the Niners' offensive MVP. If the Niners won, he may have won MVP because of the big plays that he was making. There's no doubt, underrated. If Aiyuk gets traded away, you're probably banking on Pearsall being really good, and you trade Aiyuk away thinking that Pearsall can step in, but also as part of that, you're hoping that Jauan Jennings can fulfill a big role, and he would have to. There's no doubt about it. Words of wisdom. Chase, you touch upon it. The more time Aiyuk misses, the more he will be less of a factor this year. Look at Bosa's dip in production. There was a dip in Bosa's production as far as sacks. He went from 18.5 sacks to 10-plus sacks last year. And you just noticed that Bosa's stamina was slightly off. Now, physically, you looked at him and you're like, this dude is a physical specimen who's truly one of one, takes good care of his body. But I said it throughout the entire training camp and preseason period. There is a difference between being in shape and football shape. And Nick Bosa even admitted, I was not in football shape. He was just a touch off from generating quarterback pressures and quarterback hits to sacks. There was a huge drop-off in sack production. There was not a drop-off from quarterback pressures and hits year over year. In fact, some of his numbers were better in 2023 than 2022. But that play speed, narrowly off, which is why there was that decrease in production. And for Aiyuk, if he misses a lot of extended time in the lead up to the season, that's one of the worries that I have. Joe G, what's really happening with Ricky Pearsall? Look, he was put on the non-football injury list. What this traditionally means is that there was an injury that happened away from the facility. If you remember, during the spring, he did wear a blue jersey during mandatory minicamp and OTAs. That signaled that he was dealing with some type of injury, yet he was wearing the blue jersey but still practicing. A couple of weeks ago, he was training with Deebo, and some of the clips went viral of the great footwork and the route running. Everything I've heard, it's not all that serious. This is out of precaution. We'll see what happens when training camp officially gets underway this upcoming week. Drippy Sports, I'm perfectly fine with us trading away Aiyuk and then bringing in Terry McLaurin. So that's an interesting trade that we've talked about a couple of times here on the show. Terry McLaurin is not the player that Aiyuk is. They're similar in age, though. McLaurin has put up excellent production, and he's cheaper than Aiyuk. So if you want to save some coin and not have much of a drop-off as far as overall wide receiver talent and overall production, Commanders, you want Aiyuk? Give us a first-rounder. Give us Terry McLaurin. You pay Aiyuk, we'll take on McLaurin, who's under contract for the next couple of years, and we still have maybe the best or one of the best receiver duos in the National Football League, because the Niners, do they want to pay a wide receiver $30 million per season when they still want to run the football a lot? It's a fair question. Niners 63. With next year's cap numbers in excess, who is the most likely to leave to get us under, as we have a bunch of high-priced studs on the team? So Deebo's contract after this year is non-guaranteed. Now, if you cut him pre-June 1, there would be $15 million in dead money. That would have to be a post-June 1 designation like the Niners did with Eric Armstead. So Deebo comes to mind. Kyle Juszczyk comes to mind. Maybe you don't re-sign Talanoa Hufanga, Charvarius Ward, Diamador Lenore. Maybe you cut a Javon Hargrave. It would be hard, but maybe you cut a George Kittle. All of those are realistic scenarios. That I mentioned Kyle Juszczyk, that could be a player. So some difficult financial decisions because you're going to have to pay Aiyuk. Tyreek, Super Bowl window closed after this year. I don't think so. You still have an elite coach. I'm a believer in Brock Purdy. You're still going to have some excellent players on this team, but there's no doubt the pressure to finish the job is getting ratcheted up because you're going to have to make some difficult decisions. If you want to be a part of our mailbag segments, hit that subscribe button. If you want to tune into everything that we do and stay in the know with all things Niners, subscribe, but also hit that bell icon and turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we do go live or when we push out a show here on YouTube, you'll be notified.